we get started, a quick warning, my drawing skills are terrible. With that said, let's get started. So it all started in Tucson, Arizona, where I was born and raised and spent most of my days. Yeah, so I was born as Kasey Marie Palmer, and still am, because that's my name, February 11th, 1986, to my beautiful mother, Kimberly Joe Palmer. And as for my father, he wasn't around, but his name was James, or is James Eller, aka douchebag. So yeah, basically it was just me and my mom for the first couple of years. She raised me on her own, and then when I was 2, she had met my now stepdad. They've been together since I was 2, and his name is why do I keep saying was? His name is Billy. When I was younger, we had a really great relationship. We moved a lot. Our relationship changed. I'll get to that later. So as far as elementary school, I was picked on a lot. Elementary, kindergarten through 5th grade really wasn't all that great for me. I did have a couple of good friends, but for the most part, I got picked on a lot. I went to a predominantly Hispanic school, so I got picked on a lot for being Caucasian, and this went on even into middle school. But in particular, there's these twins that, oh my gosh, they would threaten me every day. It was horrible. They were so mean. Their names were Elizabeth and Vanessa, I think. I don't know. They were so mean to me though. One day I decided to take my mom's makeup, because since I can remember, I've always been into makeup and obsessed with it. So I took my mom's makeup bag to school and I did all the little girls' makeup, and my principal called my mom. My mom was really upset that I took her makeup to school, and I remember like being grounded from doing that, but I had fun doing all the little girls' makeup at school. Some of the parents weren't happy about it either. So growing up, I spent a lot of time in my room. I was the only child, so yeah, my room was in Little Mermaid and Mariah Carey. I had their posters plastered all over my wall. I spent a lot of my time listening to music, writing songs. I used to have a songbook. I've been writing music since I was in like 2nd grade. So music has always been really, really important to me, and was my escape for a lot of the negative things at school and in my household. So one time I got in trouble again at school. I was in, I think, 4th grade. I was drawing at my desk, and I don't know why, but I drew a picture of Bart Simpson, and yeah, it looked a little something like that. I don't know why I did that, but I did. The principal called my mom, of course. I got in trouble. I was suspended for like a week. And then I went on to middle school. Middle school, I met my best friend, Bianca, and we are still friends to this day. We are best friends for life, and I actually named my youngest daughter Bianca after her. In middle school, I was still picked on. I got called white girl a lot, powder face. It wasn't very fun for me, and a lot of it was by the boys. So in middle school is when I started changing the way I did my hair, the way I did my makeup. I wore more makeup to make myself look different. I started talking different, just so I could fit in. And once I seen that worked and I didn't get picked on as much, it just kind of stuck with me. I really changed to fit my surroundings and my peers. And my love for music has always been there. I used to tell everyone I was going to be a singer and I'm going to be famous, and I didn't have a lot of support from my family with that. So it's still with me. I just didn't pursue it as a career, but I have always been obsessed with music. And as I got older, my relationship with my stepdad just got worse. We did not get along. I really did not like him. I felt like he did most of the disciplining, and therefore I just didn't like him. I couldn't do anything. He was really, really strict, and I just did not like him. I love him now and I appreciate everything he's done for me, but at the time I just did not like him, which caused me to rebel. I used to sneak out a lot, and one time I snuck out with my friend Jenna, and the cops pulled us over. We were with her boyfriend. Cops brought us home, and of course, my parents were happy about that. Me and Jenna were no longer allowed to hang out. Now for my high school years, they didn't last too long. I met a boy, and it was the first boy that actually liked me back and that, you know, gave me attention. So that situation ended up with me 16 and pregnant. And I told him I was pregnant and he disappeared. At this point in my life, I was determined, and I've always wanted to meet my real father. I thought about him a lot, and one day I was just like, you know what, I want to meet him. So I asked my mom if she had any way that I could contact him, and she said, well, I still have the phone number from when we used to talk. She had it memorized, and she wasn't happy about it, but she supported my decision and gave me that phone number. And I called it, and it just so happened to be the same number that the same residence. It was his mom's house, of course. And I called and I asked if I can speak with him. She said he didn't live there anymore, but she can get a hold of him. But she didn't think it was a good idea because he wasn't a very good person. So I didn't care. I just told her if she can have him call me. And he ended up calling me, and we met. We had a relationship for about 3 months. I was really, really excited to finally meet him, and he was taking me out. Sorry for saying so many times. I'm just kind of winging this. He ended up disappearing, and which broke my heart, but I got over it. I have closure that I got to meet him and all that. So I was 16 and pregnant. I dropped out of high school. And I wanted a job. My parents weren't happy about it, but they just let me do it. I hated my first job at McDonald's, and then I got a job at Kmart, which I worked there until I delivered. So here was the scariest day of my life, and yet the most amazing day of my life. I gave birth to my first son, Dominic Palmer. July 19th, 2002. He was healthy. I actually went over my due date, and he weighed 714. So I went on living with my parents, and of course with their help, they supported me and my son and were a great help. And so since I was 16, I've always worked. I used to be a housekeeper at a few different places. Didn't like that, hated it. I worked at Olive Garden and a few bars. I've worked at Target. When I was 17 years old, I was working at Target, and I had met Joe. I fell in love with him. He was a great guy, great supporter, and on my 18th birthday, because my parents didn't let me move out until I was 18, my 18th birthday, we moved in together. So at the age of 18, I had my first daughter, which is Mariah, and then we had Noah. I was 21, and then I had my youngest, Bianca, at 25. And Joe took in Dominic as if he were his own, and Dominic knew him as his dad. For the first 5-6 years, things were great. Over time, you know, everyday life was just tons of yelling. We always fought. We actually split up a few times, and I always went back to try and make it work, but I always felt like there was something missing in this relationship. So for a good 4 years, I was a bartender and a waitress at a few different restaurant bars. And I liked it for a while, but I always felt like something was missing, like I was supposed to be doing something else. And at this point, I started a YouTube channel, which I originally started as a singing channel, and then I got into the MySpace makeup groups, and my YouTube channel turned into a makeup channel, which led me to start my own business, which is stillglamorus.com. This was a great opportunity for me to be able to stay home with my children. I had my 4, plus we had Joe's 2 kids, so I was a stay-at-home mom of 6, and I got to work from home blogging and selling my makeup, which it didn't make me rich, but it's enough to keep up with supply and demand and pay a couple bills. And my business has gotten as far as it has today because of a good friend of mine, Renee, and my best friend, Bianca. Without their help, I definitely wouldn't be where I am at with my business today. As far as my relationship goes, over the years, as I got older, right after I turned 27, it kind of hit me that this relationship just isn't going to work. It was very unhealthy. We just did not get along anymore. And yeah, I was miserable, and it became to the point where I was actually suicidal. It was a really, really bad time in my life, and I just, you know, I was like, I'm done, can't do this anymore. So I decided to leave, and it was the best decision that I probably ever made. So it was back to mommy's house I went. My stepdad and my mom happily took us in, and yeah, packed my bags, took the kids, and moved into my mom's for a while. I was very scared, of course. I've never been single, and even though we broke up before, I knew that I had to stick by my guns this time and stay gone. It was, yeah, definitely really, really scary. So I was ready for a tattoo. I hashtagged Tucson tattoo or something like that, and Anthony's Instagram page popped up, and I followed him. He ended up following me back, and he actually texted me. He got my number off of my website, and we just started texting, and we ended up meeting in person. We actually met, we went to Mount Lemon, and ever since then we've been inseparable. The first time that I met him, I knew that I had to be with him forever, and I didn't care if I was freshly single. There was no stopping the connection, chemistry that we have. It's undeniable. So yeah, we actually moved in together. We had to see each other every day, so we just figured that's what was best. We live 45 minutes away from each other, so we moved in together. The kids love him. He's great with them. He helps out so much, and I can honestly say I'm the happiest I've ever been. Relationship-wise, family-wise, career-wise, just the point that I'm at in my life right now is really, really beautiful. And although there's been some struggle there, I made it through, and it's only gonna be better from here. What, babe? And yeah, I gotta go. Thank you guys so much for watching.